Good evening, guys. So we're on the back deck. Roosters are crowing. Beautiful evening on this is actually Easter when I filmed this. A lot of you guys have requested different videos from me, but just know that depending on how busy I am, sometimes my videos are uploaded over a week in advance. So the video you're seeing here on Easter, well, I don't know when you'll see it. I'm behind. I've not made a video. I've not filmed or edited a video in several days, maybe even a week. And the videos are still going. So that tells you, I think there's 8 or 10 days ahead at one time. So I have to make them when I think of them. I don't try to force videos. I do them when I think of something that I think you guys would be interested in. But today, I am going to talk to you about something that I get asked about quite a bit. A couple times in the last couple videos that have just come out, people have mentioned it. So, I guess you've seen in the title, what is a good rate? Hang on, we're going to talk about it. Alright guys, so out here standing on the back of the trailer and for the guy out of the house. It feels good out here. I think we're fixing to get some rain, but my yard's growing up because my lawnmower's been messed up, but I finally got the part in to fix it. But I decided to go ahead and make a video about rates because I get a lot of requests for it. But it's not going to be the video you think it is. So, I want to start out by saying, well, first, let's stop right here. I really, really do appreciate, guys, when y'all leave me comments telling me how much y'all like the videos and that y'all have subscribed to the channel. It means a lot. I don't know if any of you guys have your own YouTube channel, but when you put the time and the effort and the energy into making a video and somebody to say something good about it, it really keeps us going. And I enjoy doing them, but I don't know that if I would enjoy doing them if I didn't know you guys were enjoying the end result, because it's a lot of work. It may only take, well, if you guys see a 10-minute video, it may be a 10-minute video, or if it's clipped, it may be a 20-minute video, or it may have took an hour to get a 10-minute video without messing up. And so it takes time to film them, and then it takes like forever to edit them, add the music to it, upload it to the phone, upload it to YouTube, and then once you get to YouTube, we have to do all this other stuff. So any of you guys that have done it know, but if you've never done it, there's a lot to it. So, but anyway, I'm going to keep doing them as long as y'all enjoy or can use the information that I'm putting out. So, but anyway, I hope you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for all the notifications, which is the solid black bell. Share it if you can. Don't forget about the links with beefjerky.com. Still got 10% off. That's a good deal. And I've got to order me some more beef jerky because I am out. And Mytee's got $10 off, $250. Speaking of Mytee, let me say this. We're going to have a giveaway. I just got to get everything together. But I sold the Big Tex trailer. It is sold and gone. And so, for any of you that seen the video where I said I had it for sale, I sold it to somebody here local, a local Hotshotter come by yesterday and seen it out at my dad's and snatched it up. I probably sold it too cheap. But, you know, I wanted to sell somebody a deal in it. Anyway, all that being said, let's jump to what the topic is about today. So, when we talk about rates, if you're new, you may not know. Even if you've been in a while, you may not have thought about some of the things that goes into this. A lot of times, me included, I see loads come up that is cheap, and I'm like, I wouldn't have took that load. Now, I didn't take that load, and I'm thinking, but man, that load went fast. And then there's loads that I really want that, bam, I don't get it fast enough. And then I see people taking stuff, and I hear my buddies and all that run several trucks who hire drivers and all, and I hear some of the rates he's getting paid, and I'm like, not enough margin for me to be doing that. But then I see that they're successful, they're running new trucks, so they've got something figured out. Well, I want to just throw some things out here at you about rates. So, you know, we know our basic stuff about rates, you know, and then for those that don't know, I'll try to do this pretty quick over how you calculate. But, so to figure your cost per mile, you have to do what? You have to break down everything that you have invested in that mile, right? So everything that you have to pay out, I mean everything, even the depreciation on your truck. Some people just do, some people that trade trucks pretty often, they take their truck payment and they do it that way. So they take their truck payment, divide it by the amount of miles you average per month, and that gives you your cost per mile. But nowadays, as high as trucks are going up, they're going up faster than depreciation. So, for instance, like I've seen I've seen a half dozen trucks for sale lately that has nearly 200,000 miles on it. Same year model as mine, for about what I gave for mine a year ago. So trucks are outpacing depreciation a little bit, depending on what it is and where it is. But anyway, so in a nutshell, we take the cost of whatever the cost, say insurance, gas, whatever. We take that cost and we divide it by the amount of miles that we think we're going to get out of that cost. And then we add all those things up, and that gives us a cost per mile. So let me back up and make sure I made myself clear. So if it's insurance and you pay it by the year, you figure on roughly how many miles you're going to do a year, and you divide that yearly insurance premium by the mile, and that'll tell you how much, that will tell you how much insurance costs you per mile. And that may vary a little, because you may do more or less in miles. And this is going to be easier once you've been in business a year, 2 years. It's going to be easier to narrow that down. And then, for instance, you take your truck cost, divide it by how many, if you're doing monthly, divide it by how many miles you average a month, if you're doing monthly payment, and figure it that way. Just remember though, if you're doing that, did you pay anything down on your truck? Did you trade in something on the truck that brought that payment down? So you got to remember that. Best way to do that is, if you give $60,000 for a truck, or nowadays, probably a one-ton truck costs you $80,000, $70,000 to $80,000. You would need to divide that by what you think the lifespan is, and I'm not going to get into that, because different trucks are different, the way people drive them are different, and all that. Anyway. So that's a nutshell of how you figure your cost per mile. You take every item that you spend. If you're like an owner-operator like me, I only have one setup. I have one truck and one trailer. So all my expenses for my trucking company has to be figured into the mileage, right? Well, I'm going to throw something at you that you may not have thought of. When you figure up all that, and you know your cost per mile, then you got to decide, what is it worth for me to keep up with all this? What is it worth to be gone from my family? What is it worth of the hassle of being hassled at weigh stations by four-wheelers driving down the road and trucks driving down the road that don't need to be driving down the road? What is all that stress worth? In other words, you have to negotiate yourself a check in there, a salary. Well, when I said a while ago that I don't understand how some people take loads cheap, and there's some places the same kind of looking load pays an astronomical price, I'm going to tell you something. The cost of living in North Alabama is far cheaper than the cost of living, say, in Southern California or New York, right? So, if you're based out of those areas, your cost is going to be, like if you're in New York or California or maybe even Miami, places like that, your cost per mile is going to be higher because usually in the places where the cost of living is higher, insurance on everything's higher. Insurance on businesses, which you're on a business if you're an owner-operator, so that's going to be higher. And some places have occupational taxes, so they have to add those fees in there. All right. Then some places have environmental taxes. Like you get out in California, places like that, they may even have an environmental tax. I don't know. There's different places that has all kinds of different taxes that you may not have in a mostly rural, like where I live. We live in a mostly rural area. Some of our people that watch have been to our area. I mean, you know, we don't, the town I live in, we have 2 red lights, and we didn't have the other red light till about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So, anyway, and it was about 20 years before that, before we got the first red light. So, but anyway, we live in a rural area, not a lot of stuff, not a lot of extra taxes, not a lot of extra fees, not a lot of environmental things that you have to pay extra for. If you live in an area where the cost of living's higher, guess what? Your tires are higher. Where I might can buy a brand new Ram Tradesman 1-ton for say $80,000 here in Alabama, that same truck in New York or California may cost you $85,000. You see where I'm going with this? Different parts of the country, people are going to be able to run for less money. And you say, well, they shouldn't. They should all stick together and be the same. Well, who are we to say that? I make good money, and I've told y'all before, but, and I don't share my rates. I don't encourage you guys to share your rates. All sharing rates is going to do is get an argument started. So it don't matter if I told y'all I was getting $10 a mile, somebody say you're a liar. If I said I haul for $2, they say you're crazy. So, I mean, there's a no-win situation. And you say, well, it don't matter, don't ignore all of them, just tell us what you make. For one, that's not good business sense. Because in a competitive market, especially like trucking, you don't want everybody knowing what you're hauling for, because then they've got an edge. If they want to come in and try to swoop up the business, they know what you're making. I don't advise that. Alright, so let's get to what is a fair price. What is a fair rate per mile to run for? Well, you're not going to like my answer. It is the cost per mile. Now, this is for you, whoever you are, wherever you live, and whatever you want to make. Remember what I said earlier? Cost per mile, you've calculated it up. You took all your expenses and you've got your cost per mile. Because tires in your area may be higher than they are in my area. So you've got your cost per mile. You know what that is. Then you've negotiated yourself a contract. If I'm going to be out on the road, I'm going to make X amount of dollars. And when you add that to that, when you take all your cost expenses, which should replace your truck, should replace your tires, all that. You got all that built in. And then you figure in the salary, and then you need to add a cushion to the top of that. You decide what makes you comfortable, but there needs to be cost, labor, which is you, your contract, and then a cushion. You decide what that cushion needs to be. A lot of financial people say you need a cushion enough so you can build in a savings for 3 to 6 months. And so you need to figure out some way of having a cushion for your business. Your business is your business, and your check is your check. But even personally, you need a 3 to 6 month cushion on your own. If there's any way of doing that, you need that. I'm just trying to help you guys. You don't have to listen to anything I say. I'm just telling you things that I do and I take into consideration when I do it. All right, when you get all that together and you got your cushion built in, your contract for your company, how much your company's going to pay you for working, and then all your expenses are covered. When you got all that figured in, anything over and above that, to me, would be a good rate for you. You say, well, you're not helping me. I am, because I just told you how to calculate your rate. I just told you for you to decide how much you want to work for, because to some people wouldn't leave their family for a week, 2 weeks at a time for X amount of dollars, but they would for XYZ amount of dollars. You got me? So whatever that's worth to you, because you're going to miss. If you got kids at home, I'm blessed. My kids are grown, and one's still home, but he's still in college. But and I work local now. But when I was on the road, I didn't miss a lot of things because they were done grown. But if you got kids at home, what is it worth to miss that little league ball game? What is it worth to miss that Christmas play at church? Or what is it worth to miss your cousin's wedding? I missed my cousin's wedding a couple years ago with my other business I was in. They scheduled it one of the busiest weekends we had, and I couldn't go. But that all plays a factor in everything you figure out. And I want you to think about that long and hard when you do that. Now, can you occasionally take rates that are a little cheaper and cut into your pay a little? Yeah, but just remember, you're cutting in your pay. You can't cut into your cost. If you want to cut into your pay every now and then to get, say, a load back home or something, it's okay to cut into your pay. Don't cut in to your cushion. Don't cut in to your cost. If you cut into your cushion, it's only you're affecting. Make sure that your check now that you're cutting in on still gives you money to buy groceries and to keep everybody at home took care of, right? So don't cut into that. So make sure if you're going to cut into that. And remember what I've said. I've talked about this before too. Just because you took a run to Dallas, Texas, don't mean because you're in Dallas that you can haul it back home for less money. Now, some guys don't want to do that. You don't need to set your business up so you got to work for less at any time. Any load on this trailer pays the same, or it comes home empty. It's the principle of it, and you say, well, you're throwing away money. That's bad business talk. No, it's not, because until we all stand up and say, this trailer's worth the same, coming or going, until we all stand up and say that, they're going to keep doing this crap that they're doing. And so I've done it from the start, said that I wasn't going to do something just for fuel. And I never have. Even hauling campers, I got to where I was doing just transfers for Camping World. Just so I didn't have to worry about hauling loads out and hauling loads back. I got to where I didn't even go to the plant to get new campers. I would haul new campers for Camping World, and I went around and around and around just so I'd have less deadhead and was making money constantly. It goes back to what I told you earlier. When you leave, if you're over the road, you need to plan on being gone 2 to 3 weeks. That's the only way you're going to be able to get a handle on this getting paid every mile. Now, yeah, you are going to have to deadhead. You are going to have to deadhead a little bit to get loads sometimes. That's part of it. It's going to be rare that you're ever even in the same city where the next load is. That might happen, but and if it's a big city, it might. Like Dallas, you might find something in and around Dallas. If you drop a load in Dallas, good chance you might find something there. But anyway, that's how I do it. I tell you all the time, I'm not a pro. I just share with you guys how I do it. And so that's how I do it. That's how I determine a good rate. And so I hope that helps you guys. I hope that satisfies some of you guys that want me to talk about rates. Let me throw this in. I have talked to a lot of my buddies since I knew I was going to make this video, and they are running. I didn't want to know their rate because I didn't want them to ask me my rate. I just said, hey, are y'all doing good on your rates? And everybody's like, yeah. And some of them buying new trucks and all that. So you can usually tell a company is run pretty good when you see them replacing old trucks with new trucks and old trucks with new trucks constantly. And you know, they're doing good. You usually can watch people like that and they're doing pretty good. Now sometimes they act like they're doing good and they keep doing that and they're piling up debt. We don't know everything, but all my buddies I've talked to said that they're doing good. They say, yeah, it'd be nice if the rates were a little bit better, but they're all doing good. And like I said, some of them's hiring drivers, so I know the rates are pretty good if they're hiring drivers and still making good money. So alright guys, I love you. I never want to offend anybody by not doing the video you think I should do, but when it comes to rates, all I can do is give you the information, and at some point you guys decide what's good or bad. Hope you guys have a great day. I hope the Lord blesses you more than you can imagine. I mean, more than you can imagine, and that's a lot. And so remember what I always say, if you want to have a safe trip, you got to start out doing safe things. Inspect your truck, inspect your trailer, inspect all of your equipment. Love you guys. Later.